Did you know that some reggae legends have been known to cheat on their partners? From legendary singer Bob Marley, who had 12 children with different mothers while still married to his wife, Rita Marley, to Elephant Man, who openly admitted to fathering 38 children with multiple women. Here are the 12 reggae legends who cheated on their partners. Shaggy. Shaggy is a Jamaican-American reggae artist known all over the world for songs like It Wasn't Me, Boombastic, Angel, Oh Carolina, and In the Summertime. Over the years, he's earned huge success. In 2002, he also won the Brit Award for International Male Solo Artist. He's been nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, and he won 2 of them, first in 1996 for Boombastic, and again in 2019 for 44/876, his joint album with Sting. His journey into music began in the early 1990s. In 1993, his breakout hit Oh Carolina, a dancehall remake of a classic ska song, got major attention after appearing in the movie Sliver. That same year, Shaggy was also featured on Kenny Dope's hip-hop album, The Unreleased Project. He kept working with big producers like Sting International, Don Juan, Lloyd Campbell, Robert Livingston, and Frankie Cutlass, including on the hip-hop remix of his song, Nice and Lovely. In 1995, he had a huge hit with Boombastic, which became the theme song for a Levi's commercial. He later teamed up with Maxi Priest in 1996 for their top 20 hit, That Girl. Shaggy is a father of 5 children. His 2 sons, Richard Burrell Jr. and Tyler, are from his past relationship with Carol Johnson. His older son, Richard Jr., is also into music. He performs as a rapper under the stage name Rob Banks. Both Richard Jr. and Tyler grew up with their mother, but stayed connected to Shaggy over the years. However, while he was with Carol for all those years, Shaggy was often surrounded by cheating rumors. During the height of his fame, he was known to enjoy the attention that came with being a star, and even many close to him knew he wasn't always loyal. Later on, Shaggy had 3 daughters with his longtime partner, Rebecca Packer. Rebecca Packer works as an art director for film and music videos. Their twin girls, Kelsey and Madison, were born in 2008. His eldest daughter with Rebecca is named Sydney, and she's a bit older than the twins. Rebecca and Shaggy met in the late 1990s, and during that period, he was in a relationship with his former wife. By the early 2000s, Shaggy and Rebecca were in a serious relationship. They officially got married on July 12, 2014, after being together for 16 years. Rebecca even helped Shaggy behind the scenes, working on his music videos and organizing his charity event Shaggy and Friends every year. Bob Marley. Robert Nesta. Marley, known all over the world as Bob Marley, helped turn reggae into a global sound by mixing it with ska, rocksteady, and his own unique voice and lyrics. From the moment he started making music in 1963 with Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer as the teenagers who later became the Wailers, he was destined for greatness. Their debut album, The Wailing Wailers, came out in 1965 and featured One Love, a song that quickly became a global anthem. Later on, after signing with Island Records, the band took on the name Bob Marley and the Wailers and released several more albums that would go down in history. Marley became one of the best-selling artists of all time, with over 75 million records sold. But behind the music and message of unity, Marley's personal life told a different story. On February 10, 1966, at just 21 years old, Bob married Rita Anderson in Kingston, Jamaica. She was 19 at the time. Just one day after their wedding, Marley left for the United States to earn money and chase his dream of starting a record label. Eventually, he called for Rita to join him in Delaware, where he was living with his mother. The couple spent the next few years moving between the US and Jamaica, raising a family and building Bob's career. Rita was also a singer. She started in a group called the Solettes, which Bob helped guide in the 60s and later became part of the I-Threes, the legendary backup singers for Bob Marley and the Wailers. She was with him through the rise to stardom, on stage and off. But even as they performed together, Marley's loyalty to her was fading. It's no secret Bob Marley had affairs with other women. Several of those relationships led to children. One of the earliest was with Janet Hunt, who gave birth to Rohan Marley. Another woman, Pat Williams, had Robert Marley. The list didn't stop there. During his frequent trips to Europe, Bob connected with women overseas. In London, he met Lucy Pounder, who gave birth to Julian Marley. Around the same time, he was also involved with Janet Bowen, another British woman who had their daughter Karen. There was also Anita Belnavis, a Jamaican table tennis champion, who became the mother of Ki-Mani Marley, and Yvette Crichton had another of his children. But perhaps the most well-known of Bob Marley's many lovers was Cindy Breakspear, a former Miss World. She and Marley had a long relationship that started in the 1970s and lasted until he passed away in 1981. Their son is Damian Marley, also a successful artist. Cindy openly admitted that many of Bob's songs were written about her. Through it all, Rita never left. She stayed married to Bob until the end, even as he fathered multiple children with different women. In her book, No Woman, No Cry, My Life with Bob Marley, she shared how deeply his affairs hurt her, but also how much she loved him. Despite the pain, she took in the children Bob had with other women and raised many of them as her own. Gregory Isaacs. Gregory Isaacs, known to fans as the Cool Ruler, was one of Jamaica's most beloved reggae singers. The New York Times once called him the most exquisite vocalist in reggae. His music touched millions, especially lovers rock fans, thanks to his emotional, romantic songs. Gregory's music career started in 1968 when he released his first single, Another Heartache, under the name Winston Sinclair. It didn't sell well, but that didn't stop him. He soon teamed up with fellow artist Errol Dunkley to start their own record label called African Museum. That's when things really took off. His song, My Only Lover, became a hit, and is now known as the first ever lovers rock track. Gregory went on to release classics like Night Nurse, building a legacy that would last long after his death. Gregory passed away on October 25, 2010, in London after a battle with lung cancer. But soon after his death, questions started popping up about his personal life, particularly about his relationship with a woman named Linda, his UK manager. Some media outlets even referred to her as his wife. Their love story raised eyebrows, especially when you consider that Gregory was known for being surrounded by women. Even Linda herself joked he had more women than he had hot cakes. Linda and Gregory met back in 1977 in North London, but nothing romantic happened at first. Linda was already in a relationship, and Gregory was married then to his wife, June Wyndham. They stayed in touch over the years, sometimes crossing paths when she visited Jamaica or when he came to the UK. But it wasn't until about 6 years before his death that things got serious between them. Linda became his manager in the UK, and not long after, they fell in love. Their relationship grew stronger over time. By the end, Linda was not only his partner, but also the person who cared for him during his final days. Gregory chose to spend his last moments with her in London, far from Jamaica, where his life and career had started. Some people criticized that choice, but Linda defended herself, saying they were truly in love, even if they weren't legally married. She said, "We were together for a few years. We weren't married by law, but we lived like husband and wife." She even changed her last name to Isaacs by deed poll in 2009, just a year before he passed. She continued saying, "Gregory said I was his wife, and I said he was my husband. If we did wrong, then let the Almighty judge us." Lee Scratch Perry. Lee Scratch Perry was one of reggae's most brilliant minds, an eccentric genius who helped shape the sound of Jamaican music. Perry changed the way reggae and dub music were made. He didn't just produce music he experimented, he created, he played with sound like no one else. In the 1970s, he became a pioneer of dub, using remixing and studio effects to turn ordinary tracks into something magical. His career began in the late 1950s when he worked with Clement Dodd, a big name in Jamaican music. Perry did everything from selling records to recording nearly 30 songs for Dodd's Studio One label. But after a falling out with Dodd, Perry decided to build something of his own. In 1973, he created the legendary Black Ark Studio in his own backyard. From there, he produced music for some of reggae's biggest names, including Bob Marley and the Wailers, Junior Murvin, the Heptones, Max Romeo, and many more. Perry was the kind of man who would lock himself in the studio for days barely eating, barely sleeping, just to perfect a song. He lived and breathed music. But while he was making magic in the studio, his personal life was a little more chaotic, especially when it came to the women in his life. Perry was legally married twice. His first wife was Paulette Perry, but that marriage ended in 1979 due to infidelity rumors. After that, he met Mireille Rueg, a woman from Switzerland, in 1989. They got married and had 2 children together. He later moved to Switzerland to live with her, and they stayed together until his death. However, Mireille wasn't the only woman who had children with the famous producer. Perry had 6 children in total, 2 with Mireille and 4 more with other women. The children he had with other women are Cleopatra Perry, Marcia Perry, Omar Perry, and Sean Perry. Even though he called Mireille his wife and lived with her in his final years, the other women and their children were also part of his story. Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh was more than just a reggae icon. Alongside Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer, he helped form the legendary band The Wailers, changing the sound of reggae forever. He stood tall as a fighter for truth, justice, and the rights of the poor, especially through his deep connection to Rastafari and his bold solo career after leaving the Wailers in 1976. But behind the powerful music and rebellious image was a man who didn't believe in settling down when it came to love. Peter Tosh never officially married, but that didn't stop him from having a long list of relationships. He had 10 children with different women throughout his life. His most well-known partner was Marlene Brown, often called his common-law wife. They were together for 5 years starting in 1982, and she was by his side through his final days. But interestingly, she didn't have any children for him, even though she had plenty with others. His son, Andrew Tosh, born in 1967, followed in his father's footsteps as a reggae artist. Another son, Jawara, was born to a woman named Melody Cunningham, and there were others, Aldrina, Nyambe, and more, who don't live a public lifestyle. Tosh had a tragic love story early on. His first girlfriend, Yvonne, was killed in a car accident in 1973. Tosh was driving when a car going the wrong way slammed into them. Yvonne died instantly. Tosh survived, but with a fractured skull and scars that never quite healed. Still, that heartbreak didn't stop him from continuing his many romantic relationships. He lived like a true rebel, and that included his views on love. He moved from woman to woman, never truly staying in one place emotionally. In 1987, tragedy struck again. Peter Tosh was killed in his own home in Jamaica. A gang broke in demanding money. When he couldn't give them any, they tortured him and the people who were with him. He was shot twice in the head and died, along with others in the house. Marlene Brown, his partner at the time, survived but was badly wounded. Beenie Man. Beenie Man, often crowned the king of dancehall, is one of Jamaica's most famous entertainers. With a Grammy win under his belt and a career that started when he was just 5 years old, Beenie Man grew up with music in his blood. His uncle, Sidney Knowles, who once played drums for Jimmy Cliff, saw his potential early and pushed him into the spotlight. By age 10, Beenie Man had already dropped an album, The Invincible Beenie Man, the 10-year-old DJ wonder, and in 2001, he took home a Grammy for Art and Life. But while his music career has been filled with success, his love life has been anything but smooth. In 2006, Beenie Man tied the knot with singer D'Angelo Downer. It seemed like dancehall royalty had found their queen. But just 1 year later, the fairy tale cracked, and they separated due to rumors of infidelity. Even though they released a sweet duet called You Are My First in 2010, their romance never quite healed. By 2011, the couple had filed for divorce. It wasn't until 2019 that all the paperwork was finalized. Over the years, Beenie Man's name kept popping up in connection with other women. In 2021, he went public with Camille Lee, the ex-wife of fellow artist Kauka Lee. That stirred some attention, but by 2024 he moved on again, this time proposing to Camille McIntosh, a British businesswoman, after 2 years of dating. Beenie Man is also a father to 12 children. His daughter Desha Gay Davis has openly accused him of being a bad father, claiming he's abandoned her and failed to support her financially. Beenie Man and his fiancée Camille McIntosh have denied those claims, insisting they've done their part to care for Desha and her siblings. If you are enjoying this video, appreciate it by giving it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Alton Ellis. Alton Ellis, usually called the godfather of rocksteady, was one of Jamaica's most influential voices in the golden age of reggae. His music, rich with emotion, helped define the sound of a generation. But behind the sweet melodies and timeless tracks was a man whose personal life was filled with deep love, heartbreak, and a long trail of relationships that often made headlines. His musical career took off in the early 1960s when he and Eddie Parkins scored a hit with Muriel, a song Alton wrote while doing construction work. Over time, as ska evolved into the slower, groovier sound of rocksteady, Ellis stood out not just for his voice, but for his message. While other artists flirted with glorifying Jamaica's rebellious rude boy culture, Ellis stood firm with anti-Rudy anthems like Dance Crasher and Don't Trouble People. Alton was married to Pearl, and their love story was as powerful but also painful. Pearl was the muse behind some of his most famous tracks, including the unforgettable classic I'm Still in Love with You. That song wasn't just a hit, it was a plea. During a rough patch in their marriage, when Ellis was cheating on Pearl, she walked away from their relationship. Ellis poured his feelings into that record. Over the years, he fathered more than 20 children through different relationships. His life was filled with multiple lovers and the challenges of holding together a scattered family. Two of his children, Noel Ellis and Christopher Ellis, became reggae singers. Horace Andy. Horace Andy is a Jamaican roots reggae singer, known for his unique vocal style and timeless songs like Skylarking, Government Land, Angel, Spying Glass, and 5-Man Army. His musical journey began in the 1970s, and he quickly became one of reggae's most distinct voices. However, behind the music, Andy's personal life was also marked by a series of complex relationships and numerous children. During the start of his career in 1977, Horace Andy moved to Hartford, Connecticut, with his first wife Claudette, where he recorded the In the Light album. The album featured tracks like Do You Love My Music and Government Land, capturing Andy's deep roots in reggae while living abroad. By the mid-1980s, Andy had ended his relationship with his wife. He moved to London with his second wife, Caroline. While recording in the UK, Andy frequently traveled back to Jamaica, where he continued to work with some of reggae's top producers. Due to this frequent movement, Andy met with many women, which some have become his wives today. Throughout the years, Horace Andy became known for fathering 30 children with 17 different women, a fact that he spoke about with a mix of humor and reflection. When asked about the number of children, he casually responded, 17. You get two kids, you know. Remember, some of them were young and lived with them parents. We now think about family them time. Although he had committed relationships with women like Claudette and Caroline, his personal life was frequently filled with affairs and children from different partners. Despite the complexities of his relationships, Andy's dedication to his children never wavered. He took pride in his role as a father and claimed to always ensure that his children were well cared for, regardless of the challenges. Andy proudly stated in one interview, "I take care of them. They don't have to beg anybody for anything. I am always there for them." His youngest child is less than 10 years old. Buju Banton. Buju Banton, a Jamaican dancehall, raga, and reggae singer, is one of the most influential figures in Jamaican music. Banton began his career in 1987, releasing several dancehall singles, but it was in 1992, with the albums Stamina Daddy and Mr. Mention, that he truly came to prominence. Mr. Mention became the best-selling album in Jamaican history, and that same year, Banton broke the record for the most #1 hits, one singles in Jamaica, a record previously held by Bob Marley and the Wailers. He signed with Mercury Records and released Voice of Jamaica in 1993, which further cemented his place in the music industry. By the mid-1990s, Banton's music began reflecting his Rastafari beliefs, with albums like Till Shiloh and Inna Heights. Buju was married to Lorna Strahan in 1993, but their marriage ended in divorce. The couple shares 2 children, though their separation was a result of Buju's infidelities. While married to Lorna, Buju was known to have relationships with other women, and these affairs continued after their divorce. He later married Nina Atatla, with whom he has at least 5 children, including 3 sons, named Jahazil Miri, Jalil Mirie, and Mark Mirie Jr., and 2 daughters, Jodian Mirie and Shaddai Mirie. His eldest son, Mark Jr., has followed in his father's footsteps to pursue a career in music, while other children have ventured into politics and music production. Throughout his life, Buju has fathered at least 17 children, with many of them coming from different relationships. Despite being married to Nina, Buju's affairs with other women are well known, and his children with these women are scattered across various parts of the world. Elephant Man. Elephant Man, a Jamaican dancehall musician, first made his name in the music scene as a member of the Scare Dem crew in 1995, before branching out into a successful solo career. Known for his distinctive style, including his dyed yellow-orange hair and raspy low grumble of a voice, Elephant Man quickly gained attention for his energetic stage performances. His performances often involved running, jumping, and climbing on stage props, which became a hallmark of his live shows. Elephant Man's big break came in 2004 when his single All Out was featured in an Olympics commercial campaign by Puma. His 2006 hit Willie Bounce became one of his most recognizable tracks, even inspiring a popular dance that lasted for years. His music, often featured on various VP Records and Greensleeves Records albums, introduced him to a wider audience with hits like Diwali, Coolie, Steps, and Bubble Up. His creation of the Gully Creeper dance also caught the attention of Usain Bolt, who famously performed the dance after winning a gold medal at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. However, while his career skyrocketed, Elephant Man's personal life has been marked by controversy, particularly concerning his relationships with women and his role as a father. The Pond a River, Pond a Bank singer has fathered at least 38 children, with some sources suggesting the number could be higher. His first child was born when he was just 17 years old. By 2012, Elephant Man himself acknowledged having 20 different baby mothers. Despite his large number of children, his relationships with their mothers have been rocky, with accusations of him abandoning some of his children. One of his sons, Ashanti Brian, also known as Genyun, claimed that Elephant Man disowned him, which may have raised the total number of children to over 40. Elephant Man has denied being an absentee father, stating in 2019 that he takes care of his kids despite the disputes with some of the mothers. He explained, "When you're a legal youth coming from nothing to something, people go talk things, but at the end of the day, never make a rumor be true." Dennis Brown. Dennis Brown, known as the Crown Prince of Reggae, became one of the most influential figures in reggae music. His career started at just 11 years old in the late 1960s, and he went on to record more than 75 albums. Brown was a major star in the lovers rock subgenre of reggae, with his smooth vocals and heartfelt lyrics capturing the attention of fans worldwide. Bob Marley himself praised Dennis, acknowledging him as a key figure in reggae's legacy. Dennis's breakthrough came in 1972 when he was asked by Joe Gibbs to record an album. One of the tracks, Money in My Pocket, became an instant hit in the UK and solidified Brown's place in reggae history. This song quickly became a fan favorite, regularly featured in his live performances. That same year, Brown also performed in Toronto alongside other reggae legends, where he was heralded as the boy wonder of Jamaica and praised for his natural charisma. Though Dennis Brown was known to have fathered up to 13 children, his publicly known wife was Yvonne Brown. Their relationship, though loving, was not without its challenges. Yvonne was captivated by Dennis's down-to-earth nature, recalling how he was humble and different from others. They had 5 children together, but their life was often complicated by Dennis's infidelities and the strains of his busy career. Yvonne reflected on the good times with Dennis, describing him as a kind-hearted person who created a stress-free environment at home. She said, "He was different from other people. Dennis wasn't show-off or anything. He was just very humble. And that appealed to me. There was no stress around him. I miss his voice. He was just a nice person to be around. We have 5 children, and were quite young when he passed. My last daughter was 12 or 13 inches. However, it's clear that their relationship faced turmoil, as the challenges of being a famous musician and a father to many children took a toll on their marriage." Ninja Man. Ninja Man, also known as Don Gorgon, is a Jamaican dancehall DJ famous for his controversial lyrics, often glorifying violence and guns, as well as his unique, stuttering, and dramatic delivery. He started making waves in the music industry in 1987 with his hit single, Protection, a collaboration with Courtney Melody. Over the years, Ninja Man worked with a variety of producers and artists, including King Jammy, Lloyd Dennis, Bobby Digital, and Augustus Clark. His freestyle approach to lyrics, often coming up with them on the spot in the recording studio, added to his reputation as a skilled and spontaneous artist. During the years between 1989 and 1992, Ninja Man's songs like Border Clash, Murder Dem, and Above the Law cemented his image as a violent, rebellious figure in the dancehall scene. His constant feuds with other stars, including Flowergon, Super Cat, and Shabba Ranks, kept him in the public eye, fueling his rude boy persona. However, it was an old video shared by dancehall star Cham that truly thrust Ninja Man's personal life into the spotlight. In the video, a journalist named Emily Shields asked Ninja Man about his children, and the response was nothing short of shocking. At the time, Ninja Man revealed that he had fathered 23 children with 22 different women. The video went viral, with Cham captioning it, "How many children you have? 23, 22, baby mother, legend." But it didn't stop there. 5 years later, Ninja Man admitted to having fathered even more children. By 2012, he claimed to have 29 children with 28 different women. In fact, just before his life sentence for murder in 2017, Ninja Man revealed his growing brood, stating that the number had increased to 33 children with 32 baby mothers. Which reggae legend's cheating scandal are you most surprised about? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content.